Hey, what's up, everyone? DREAGEN here with another edition of the Kaiju commentary. On this one, we are watching 1967's King Kong Escapes. Now, as always, when you see the Toho logo appear on your screen, that is your cue to start listening to us. So we're going to kick things off in 3, 2, 1. Hello! Welcome to another exciting edition of the Kaiju commentary. Today we are watching King Kong Escapes.
He escapes.
He escapes! This will be the second and last time Toho does a Kong movie. Unless, of course, they do one in the future.
Kingu Kongu no Gyakushu.
We got the roar from King Kong versus Godzilla making a comeback. But this will be a different Kong suit, though. Ironically enough, resembling more of a gorilla. And less like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. Which is ironic because now you look at Skull Island Kong and he basically has gone back to that very human proportion kind of.
Mm-hmm. That's cool how they did the credits. Oh, for a second I thought they were doing it just in the window. I guess it's just how it worked out.
So as expected, when you watch a King Kong movie, it usually opens up with an underwater submarine sequence. It's usually how these things go.
I was thinking that or a boat. It's still somehow the water is in.
I was being sarcastic, by the way.
I wasn't.
Because I was like, King Kong movie, and then it's like a submarine.
Well, every Toho movie, it seems, every Toho monster movie that we watch, it always starts on a boat or a sub or something.
Well, again, because a lot of their monsters are kind of, in some way, shape, or form, connected to the ocean or utilize the ocean as a means of transport. Where the white women at?
Jesus. Yikes. So we're basically saying we're just slacking off, not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
So this is Lieutenant Susan Watson being played by Linda Miller. Rhodes Reason here is playing Commander Carl Nelson, and they are dubbed in Japanese, so this is not them speaking Japanese. Once you get a kind of certain scenes where you really see their mouth, you really that's not their lines. Now in the dub. Rhodes was actually able to dub himself, so he basically just kind of matched up his lip movements. So you do hear his voice, but Linda, unfortunately, due to some kind of disagreement with like the director, producer, who was part of the Directors Guild, and at the time she was just a model, so she was not able to kind of basically make a play to dub herself. And I had heard that or read that she actually really detested her English dub voice. But actually loved her Japanese voice. But she's actually thought the actress who did her voice, Akiko Santo, thought she really likes how she sounds in Japanese. So, and there's a few times too when she really enunciates what she's saying in English that you can actually tell what she's saying in English. And right off the bat, we're not saying Skull Island, but we're saying Mondo Island. So it's kind of a, which, tomato, really. It really doesn't matter what the island's called. It will serve as the same basic thing for Kong in this movie. But I like how here, too, Kong is already kind of established.
Jesus.
Arrgh! Now, again, this is not in continuity with King Kong vs. Godzilla, I should say. This is not the same Kong. This is a completely reimagining. Essentially,
well, I guess they said it based on the legendary Kong.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like.
And we have our look at Mechanu Kong.
Oh, well, they didn't leave that. They didn't leave that long.
So she's ready for a bro hug.
So, look at that guy's orange hard hat. Fancy. He's like, I'm wearing a cape. I'm really important, guys.
I know, right?
It's like a Doctor Strange cape.
It is kind of like a Doctor Strange cape. Also, she's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this character right here is called Doctor Who. And I've seen it spelled different ways. I've seen it actually spelled like, WHO, like the actual Doctor Who. And I've also seen it spelled HUU. Clearly, it's supposed to be like a nod to.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's got a cape.
Even though the irony is that he is the villain in the story. I'm not quite sure why they named him that. I don't know if it's just supposed to be kind of a nod to like popular science fiction, because at this point in history, the Doctor Who television show is going on. You know what I mean? So, and it is a popular thing. So I kind of think that maybe it's just kind of a. I was kind of thinking copyright wise, how did they get away with it? But they do Doctor Dr. Who, so technically, I guess it's not completely written out. So right off the bat, we're introducing.
Mechanical.
Well, yeah, but really science
His
fiction.
Arms.
I know. Well, it's funny too. Even when you see Kong later on, the real Kong, they'll do the same kind of thing.
It's like when your armpits are really sweaty, you're trying to like casually air them out and not like let anyone know that's what you're doing. That's
I know.
What it's like.
Well,
Sorry.
Yo.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of funny too, because even like how they did King Kong and King Kong versus Godzilla, when they have shots of him just walking without really doing anything, they give him like the arm extensions. But when he actually has to do things with his hands, it's a suit with shorter arms, so it's kind of a fake out. And you will see the Mechanicong do the same thing when he needs to move his hands or grapple or fight. Suddenly he's got very human hands, But they're trying to really good
composites.
Yeah,
I was thinking that.
This is probably some of the best you'll see in Toho thus far. And excuse me. This film, you can tell, again, has a bit of a budget. You'll see a lot of effect shots like that, a lot of big set pieces. And here they're trying to get this Element X, which, spoilers, they never explain what it is.
Is it like unobtainium?
Yeah, I think it's meant to kind of represent something that kind of brings out the greed in people. It like, why is it called Element X? It doesn't really matter what it is. It's more of the lengths kind of, humanity will go to obtain it. So much so that they kind of created a monster, and, so you're still seeing, elements of allegory in these Toho Kaiju films. Even now that they're starting to get a little, I don't want to say silly, but they're getting a lot more playful. You know what I mean? Gone are the days of the 54 Gojira, you know what I mean? Now we have giant mechanical gorillas and, assholes like this guy here, with like the most intense eyebrows ever.
I was thinking that, like,
you know what
dang.
I mean? He's got like Jason Momoa eyebrows.
He's just got a permanent scowl.
But even still, they find ways to kind of, have kind of a bit of a deeper meaning to these movies, which I appreciate. And Toho did that a lot, too. I mean, not in all their movies, but... Yeah, you see a lot of, like, composite shots in this film. And, again, aside from the fact that, yes, you can tell the composite shots, but for those kind of effect shots in the 60s, they're some of the best.
Yeah.
They are definitely the best you've seen in Toho up to this point.
No, don't slip. He just looks sad. I guess I'm going down. Gotta get to work.
I've been working on the railroad.
Are they gonna shoot him?
No.
Get to work!
I love the 60s. We need a machine that can dig up some, dangerous element. I know. Let's fashion it as a form of a giant gorilla. You could have made it look just like this bare machine, just a simple machine that had grappling or a big, crane. Yeah. Nope, we're gonna make it look like a big fucking gorilla. Based on a legend. It's not even like, they know that Kong is real for sure. Yeah, we heard of a story one time of a big gorilla. Yeah, let's make a giant robot version. I love that. Like,
so seriously, is that dynamite on his belt? Or
it's
what?
like explosives kind of that he's gonna use. See, right here now you have the normal arms.
Yeah.
But notice how they kind of show them tied up so you don't really see them as close.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't lose the illusion of like the arm length. Because otherwise you would really see how drastic the length, changes.
Yeah.
But again, see, again, I have never been a CGI hater. I'm a big fan of CGI. It's the way to go. And now CGI is at a point where it's pretty much rendered practical effects in terms of creature stuff kind of obsolete. I know that's not a popular opinion, but when you look at stuff like the new Skull Island and like the new Godzilla or like Planet of the Apes, it's gotten to a point where it's just as good and you can't argue it. With that said, when you go back in time to this era where they obviously didn't have CGI and even stuff like stop motion, wasn't always easily obtained or used, it's really awesome to see all the different creative ways they worked around, how they have to use, oh no! That's when I fall through the ice. Because my big ass trying to stand on a frozen lake.
The workplace accident counter back to 0.
Yep. But again, little things like that where it's like, okay, he's got to have the arms of a gorilla, but obviously a human can't then operate them right. So wide shots, give him the arm extension, close-up shots, So it's just very creative how they worked around these kind of issues.
He found the party.
I know, right?
That's where the party's at.
The club is not ready for Mechanicon. Oh.
Um.
That's a hell of a party. Lightweight.
Maybe it was his drugs he was dropping in there.
That's rough, bud.
Yikes.
Oh.
Overworked.
So they basically here implying that this element X, whatever the hell it is so powerful that even this mechanical beast they've created is, can't even handle it yet.
So now his robot is just stuck down there. Good job, buddy.
There's a foxy lady right there. You're a foxy lady when you have a coat and you don't actually use the sleeves.
I know, right?
That's how you know you're somebody.
And you're wearing sunglasses inside.
Yeah, let's just go to a funeral. Let's be real here. What the hell? I know. She looks like a. She's like a
celebrity that's trying to
or like
not be recognized.
Like a weird gothic Mennonite. No, what are the other ones? Not the Mennonites. The
I don't know.
The Amish. Yeah, she looks like a gothic Japanese Amish woman.
Oh.
Is that the new hotness?
I can kind of see that. She does have that kind of color.
And interestingly enough, like Element X, the country in which she's speaking of, her country, it's never specified what it is.
Is it a made-up one again?
Yeah, again, not the first time Toho has done that. But here, they don't even explain where it is. So, it's a lot of, it's kind of showing, I mean, this is kind of like around when kind of the Cold War is really starting to start out and all that. So, it's this idea of,
Jesus.
It's not about what the element is.
So how do they know about Mechanicon? Kong?
Well, he used to know this Doctor Who. It's going to kind of explain.
I forgot Doctor Who said he...
Yeah, so they have a history. So
okay, never mind. Sorry.
I know, it goes by quick. There's a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
Really early on in this film. Right off the bat, this film throws a lot at you. And it's it says... know it, learn it, get it. You know what I mean? Because because once it throws you in the story, one thing this movie does not have was a slow build. It's one of those things where kaiju films a lot of times traditionally, have we're kind of had a slow build up. That they took their time getting to stuff. This film feels very much like a Western film that it just throws you right in there. Which, then again, this, it is an association with, RKO, which is also one of the reasons why Toho never did anything with Kong again. RKO didn't sign over the rights anymore, so this was it. Although the Kong suit that is used in this film was later used in an episode of a Japanese TV show. The name escapes me now, but the character Kong in Toho, this was the last time. But, the pacing and this and that, and might have probably been influenced maybe a little bit by like the producers over at RKO. You know, they wanted, because again, this film does move pace wise more like a Western film, I think, which isn't a slam. I mean, I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. It all just kind of, it all depends on like, what what works best for the story. But you do definitely see, you crazy kids. The fuck you just say to me? Like how that's the thing too. She's a very kind of sassy, kind of, like doesn't take shit kind of woman. Which again, in the late '60s, was again kind of a progressive thing. There is a few damsel in distress moments with her in this film, to be sure. I guess it's still the '60s, but she's very much a a take charge kind of character,
Have
which
some,
I
mood
like.
Music.
I know, right?
Some sexy bongos or something.
Yeah, you gotta get your moon music, man. You're going to Kong's Island, man.
Oh boy, look at that.
Hovercraft.
Oh, it's a hover.
It's a hover.
It's a hover. So I like how the island is Mondo, and I'm like, is Manda from Mondo?
Well, there is a big serpent in this movie, but it's not called Manda, nor does it really look like Manda, so why don't you,
Well, they should have did that.
Yeah,
It's,
well, you know what? Why don't you shut your
it's a
face?
wasted opportunity.
Why don't you shut your face?
My face is shut.
Yeah, it's good call. Exploration!
With guns.
With
Oh,
guns!
just one gun. I guess he's got a handgun.
Breaking the stereotypes. Here you have the Japanese man and not the freaking American with a gun.
No, I think he's got a handgun on his belt.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like an assault rifle or something.
He's got a really loud voice.
No. Dude, I'm not even technically speaking my own language right now.
Well, if that's the case, then why is he there?
So yeah, remember on Skull Island how Kong always had like a legion of natives worshiping him. The budget for extras is a little slim on Mondo Island, so we just get one crazy old guy who may or may not have dementia. Well, it's the only one you see.
He's probably just some poor castaway that just got lost on this island.
He's probably screaming for help. Help me out. Get me out of here.
Because you're a woman.
Yeah, moments like this where it's like, here, stay
Clearly,
here.
You're safer on your own than with the two
Yeah.
men with guns.
Which will quickly be, shown to be a stupid idea shortly.
Of course.
I assure you.
Of course.
But again, okay, she's the medic. If one of you dumbasses like trip and fall and like sprain your ankle, she's the one there who's supposed to help you. Why'd you even bring her here? We need to bring the medic so in case we get hurt.
What is safety with numbers?
Well, yeah. So we were out a medic. We're gonna make her stay by the hovercraft while we
Especially when you're
scale
climbing
them.
up a goddamn hill.
I was gonna say you're scaling a freaking mountain. Oh. And here we get our first look at Gorosaurus.
Buddy,
What's going on over here, guys?
I'm just walking around, minding my own business on my island.
Gorosaurus, the stand-in for the T-Rex. And
This is why they told me to wait here. Look at that booty.
I know, right? Like you hear they're using kind of like Rodin's roar with a little bit of...
Wow, that was
white
pathetic.
Well, she's a white woman in dire straits, so of course she falls. Oh.
Oh god, his eyelids are creepy. I'm so high.
Also, I should point out, believe it or not, I almost didn't do this one for the commentary. And before all you guys like leave a bunch of angry comments in the description, hey, there he is.
He's got boobies.
He does got boobies. Before you guys leave a bunch of angry comments, my reason why is if you listen to episode 1 of the Kaiju Cataclysm podcast, I talked about like size being one of the determining factors that makes me a kaiju. And in this film, they're not giant. Like Kong and Gorosaurus here are about I think this is like 20 meters tall. which big. Don't get me wrong, but not traditionally kaiju big. I mean, kaiju is usually like I always said at
50
this.
or something.
Yeah, I mean, Godzilla at this point is like 50
Jesus
meters.
Christ.
I know.
She's like, can I catch a fucking break?
You know,
Where are the men at?
and they've since gone a lot bigger than 50 meters. Now they're over like 100.
Of course. Thank God she just stood there waiting to be grabbed.
Well, as one would.
It's like, hello, maiden.
And this sound effect will later be used for Godzilla too. But yeah, so if you look at him, yeah, he's big, but he's not. I know. But he's not really kaiju big. But again, it's one of those things where there's really no other genre to put this movie in. And it is very important to like
we
Tokusatsu.
lost her in the giant monsters.
I know. And it's still the fighting and the way it's still, you know, close and everything else. So they're smaller stature.
Go in this tree.
Yeah, I know, right? The smaller stature basically gets a pass. But yeah, this is pretty much a recreation of the fight from the original Kong. Obviously now, it's very interesting because before that was all done with stop motion, and now this is being done with tokusatsu effects. So you're basically seeing the recreation of that fight in suits and what that would look like.
Like, I know what they're going for with, like, his eyelids, but they look kind of weird.
That's one thing Toho's never been able to do. The Kong faces, like, I think this suit is pretty well done because looks more like a gorilla, but they've never gotten the faces right. Boom! Ha-ha! Gorosaurus classic kangaroo kick. But this is actually a really good choreographed fight.
I guess she doesn't think it's a good idea to climb down. Like, lady, you got vines right next to you, just go.
But yeah, this definitely feels more like classic King Kong as opposed to like the Kaiju Kong. Which is one of the reasons why, too, I think they've made him smaller. They wanted to, I think, make more of a classic King Kong. Look at that. Boom!
Yikes.
He said this is a good fight. Whereas the other one was definitely like a kaiju flick. I love how Kong's method of fighting, just keep hitting. Just keep hitting. And the irony is, even though these are actors bound to suits, this fight is a lot more spry than the original. And again, it's Toho using a lot of camera techniques, like speeding up the camera, all that kind of stuff. And Gorosaurus would actually return too. You do see Gorosaurus again. He appears in a Destroy All Monsters, which he's now scaled up to be around Godzilla size. But this plays out in a lot of ways like the original fight. But I actually think this fight's a bit more exciting. It's longer for one thing.
The tiny hands. She's like, oh, see, I should have climbed down.
Yeah, pretty sure, he's still a little bit smaller than the Skull Island Kong.
Wow, it took him that long to get back?
Well, they climb a fucking mountain. Ha!
Jesus.
Yeah, see right there, you can tell she's saying "put me down." If you look at her, you can see her. But look right there, like she's being I like how she's not just screaming in fear, kind of like Fay Ray was doing in the original film.
Tights.
I know, right? Here, she's already with Kong. She's being again, so she's a very kind of for the '60s, a very strong female character, which is kind of cool. Oh.
Ow. Don't you hate when that happens?
I really like, too, how they kind of created kind of the illusion of the gorilla proportions by essentially building up the upper body and bringing down the torso lower.
Yeah.
So, like, the actor's hips are actually closer to the midsection of where Kong's body is inside the suit as opposed to where his hips are, so it basically has like the shortened legs. So it's a more sophisticated suit than
Mm-hmm.
the Kong versus Godzilla. But again, I think for that film they were trying to make Kong more like a big kaiju, a big monster. Was here they're definitely trying to make Kong look more like the classic Kong.
Whoa, is he rabid? Oh.
Kong doing the classic jawbreak.
Where did my girl go?
Yeah, there's certain shots where, like, kind of at the side, I think the suit actually looks really good. It's like you said, it's the eyes.
Mm. Oh, those are the long arms you're talking about, or no?
Yeah, there they kind of do some of the
Kind
extensions.
of had some noodle action, some noodle arms. Is that a hand puppet? Like a sock puppet.
Ooh,
Oh.
you asshole!
Those are some crappy controls if that's all it takes to jam your hover car. Oh, wow. Don't let him get wet. Oh, he's got noodle
And you can
arms.
see he's got a different head there, and I'm pretty sure when he had to really go in the water or do a lot of quick movement, they used like a simpler suit.
Mm.
The head that has a lot of the movement and dexterity. That's what they usually that's what they call like the hero suit in kind of
Oh,
industry
yeah.
terms. For close-ups where it really needs to do like, just look cool, they have a more sophisticated suit. And in scenes where it has to kind of be more
Yeah,
action
his like
oriented,
snout is almost longer.
yeah, they usually create like a simpler suit, and then usually it's meant to look identical. It just can't like the head usually isn't really animatronic.
Mm.
But for like these older films, usually you could kind of tell when it was one suit versus the other because they weren't exactly identical.
Yes, let me stick my head out while they're just
I know
firing
it's
this
kind of
way.
like yeah, don't yeah, stop firing at us, please. Thanks so much.
Yeah, again, I know it's because the fur is wet, but it makes the head look even bigger because everything else just looks
Yeah.
small.
Well, again, that's something that Toho rarely had to deal with because,
Well,
again, most of
yeah.
their creatures were not furry. I mean,
God, his head is
I
huge.
know. Well, you can
Huge.
tell it's literally just a thing that's resting on top.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but again, that's the suit that's meant to kind of just take punishment as opposed to the other one, which, and you can also see the proportions, like the hero suit, as I'm going to keep calling it. It has those broad shoulders, where you see this one's very small. But again, that one has to move around a lot. So those big broad shoulders would kind of restrict the actor's movement. So,
Oh, no.
and here we have again the hero suit, where you can see,
Mm-hmm.
okay, he doesn't have to do as much movement, so he can just kind of, again, it just needs to look good. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this Kong is still a little bit smaller than Skull Island Kong. Not by too much, but to this, I know everyone's making a big deal about Skull Island saying it's the biggest Kong ever. And like, no, he's really not.
So, wait, what are they trying to do?
Let's get the
Fix
hell.
something? Oh.
Yeah, they have this
What?
one head to it. Where it has supposed to look like he's emoting more.
Mm.
It just looks weird.
Yeah.
Again, I don't really blame them because again, I think Kong's face always looks kind of weird in these Toho because again, it's a see right here, she's volunteering. You know what I mean? She's not being kidnapped by Kong. She's not being victimized. She's volunteering to put herself in potentially a dangerous situation to help other
Considering
people
everything
out.
she's been through, her hair looks immaculate.
I know, love that '60s hair, man. But that's what I'm saying. She's not really a damsel in distress. She's she's really attractive.
Mm. Kong's just like, is anybody home?
But yeah, and I was saying with like the suits, I think with like a primate because technically their faces are softer, and they're a
Mm.
lot more like us. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of hard to design them more as like a creature when there's so much
Oh, yikes.
familiarity in the face. You know what I mean? Where something like Godzilla, it's more dinosaurian. So you know what I mean?
She's like, on second thought.
Yeah.
We're like, Kong, go get me my hat. You made me lose it. I don't know if he cares.
That's like
She's
white. That's like every white person who goes to another country and thinks, "Oh, these people don't speak the language will understand me if I just say it slow and loud."
Yeah.
That's what I used to do with when I was in France, and we'd have American tourists come through the city in the summertime, and something that they would stop and ask me for directions, and I would always pretend I don't speak English, and they would always slow it down as slow as they could and scream at me, "How do I get to?" I'm just like, and I'm just thinking like, yes, shout at me. That'll make me still understand English.
Definitely helps.
Apparently, it does in this movie. Though, so. It's like, I'm just gonna go.
He looks so creepy.
Again, it's the eyes. Again, it's hard because they're trying to give him like sympathetic eyes. So I definitely see what they're going for.
Yeah.
They don't want to give him like that mean kind of a scowly look because again, see, look how. Okay, you just saw a giant fucking.
Oh,
look
shit!
at it.
She would be dead.
The
She
snack.
would be dead.
Snatched her ass right back up. But I think the irony is that he's bringing her back. I think as I was just about to make a joke, like, you just saw a giant fucking snake in that water. You just dived in. I think
Yeah.
Kong probably thought the exact same thing. Like, oh shit, don't go in there. Did you not just see what I just had to fight to get you save you people from?
I don't know though. I wouldn't have slapped her like that.
Well, he probably freaked out. It was like, there's freaking sea monsters up in here. It's like, fine. Bitches be crazy. Jesus Christ. Jumping in that fucking water. Fine. Go back.
Okay, get back in the ship.
Kong just throws up two fingers. Gosh, she's so cute. As you give me the evil eye.
Well, at least it's better than that eye.
I don't know. Kong's a.
He just looks. Oh.
Oh, and then we have the Barney face.
Barney face.
It has like a Barney face. I don't know. I
A little
don't.
bit. I see it.
I don't. Oh, I gave you quite a scare.
Yeah.
I was on being manhandled by a giant gorilla. But yeah, you guys are scared. Oh, he just looks sad.
Forever alone.
By the way, I should point out too, it's interesting. What already makes
America.
What makes Kong different is that primates in general don't like water. They can't swim. Weirdly enough, except for like humans.
Mm-hmm.
But Kong is always seen, taken to water pretty well.
He's like those rare cats that actually like water.
Yeah. So right away, this film having a bit more like an international vibe to it, which again, Kong is technically, a Western kaiju, I guess. If you will. Even though he never was a kaiju in America till Skull Island, but still, like they're, I think for Japanese audiences too, because Kong is kind of like a, an import, if you will. It feels more natural to have like Westerners and Americans, in the film, kind of like how in 2014 we had.
Dude, that guy in the back left is writing so much without looking at his paper. He's good.
Which one?
The guy in like the light grayish suit behind the guy talking.
Oh yeah.
He's like not even looking at his paper. He's like, I'm gonna cheat.
Like, I was gonna say he's like cheating off the other guy. It's like, what are you saying, bro? A lot of pretty women in this movie, man. I gotta say. This explanation right here. Well, Kong is male and Miss Watson is, It's like, yes, because the mere fact that they're both mammals and the opposite sex, that clearly bridges the gap, in terms of sexual attraction. That's like saying, well...
Kong can clearly tell the difference.
Well, that's like saying, see this pet mouse? Well, because we're both mammals, and this mouse is female, and I'm male, clearly, I want to fuck it.
Ew.
Science, kids. That's all it takes.
Gross. She's like, I'm a female.
How come Kong doesn't want to fuck me? Mechanic Kong didn't want to fuck me.
Can I get a hat like that?
I know, that's a swanky ass hat.
Oh, man, look at she's like female James Bond.
Da-da-da-da!
She'd be like Janice Bond or something, I don't know.
Well, like Doctor Who, which feels such weird saying that. He's essentially a Bond villain. Like, look at him. He made a giant robot to, like, dig up some element that will help him take over the world. He's a Bond villain. And surprise, surprise, at this point in history, what series of movies are extremely popular? 007. So, not surprising that you're now seeing, like, popular Western cinema or, like, elements from popular Western cinema making their way into, Japanese films. And again, Toho, with these films, was kind of taking whatever was popular in the West a lot of times and incorporating them into kaiju films. So this isn't the last time you'll see, like, secret agent type things in kaiju films. Mainly because, again, that's what's, it's just weird. But yeah, you're going to see more secret agent stuff in Godzilla movies coming up because that's what was popular.
So, how is it that Mechanic Kong can't withstand the element X, but normal Kong apparently they think can?
Again, in this film, it's like apparently somehow Kong is resilient to radiation. And again, I don't know how they know that because technically no one's actually seen Kong.
I was gonna say he's a legend still, right?
Yeah, so how they base the designs off the real, again, it's...
I guess they're just staking a lot on optimistic.
Yeah, again... I think the plot here is more or less just kind of the spectacle and fun of a Kong movie. If you really break it down, like the whole Mechanic Kong element is kind of like, why is there a robot Kong? Other than the fact that, yes, surprise, surprise, King Kong is going to fight.
What? Spoilers? Good.
Interesting little fact, though, we have yet to see Mecha Godzilla, so Mechanic Kong predates Mecha Godzilla, so technically there was a robot King Kong before there was a robot Godzilla. But Toho kind of figured, hey, we did a robot King Kong, let's do a robot Godzilla.
Who's making all that racket on my yard? Hey, guys.
Hey.
Well, that was easy.
Jeez.
If only we put a female on this island, years ago.
I know, right?
We would have lured him out.
This is the Skull Island helicopter sequence before the Skull Island helicopter sequence. All we need now is Black Sabbath playing while we come upon them.
It's like, hey, welcome, guys. I got refreshments over here. Oh, that's not the kind of refreshment
I know.
he wanted.
So good to it. I like the way they shoot this, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. Oh, what? What's that? Oh. But seriously, you watch the scene and then watch that scene in Skull Island, and it's funny because it literally just feels like a remake of this scene, which, quite frankly, could very much be. Even though, ironically enough, they'll do better in this version. So here we have the... See, when Kong needs to be dexterous with his arms and really do stuff, you can see they switch the suits again.
Mm-hmm. So is that supposed to be like knockout gas or something then?
Yes, the gas will form a giant fist and punch him in the face.
That's not what I meant.
Knockout gas.
Knockout gas to knock Kong out on his ass.
Oh. Again, your time-honored tradition in King Kong doing what few kaiju actually do, and that is utilizing tools, which I've always loved, because this thing, aside from his big teeth, Kong doesn't have claws, he doesn't have a tail, he doesn't have any kind of projectile energy attack, so Kong basically kind of fights the way a giant human would. So I like how he has to he uses too, but I mean, that's Kong's like greatest
Wow.
asset.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
I know that feel, bro. Kong is like, oh man, that shit sent me to the stink bug moon.
What? To the stink bug moon?
Yeah. Kong got some of that good shit.
Oh my god. Are they gonna show us how they transport
Kong
him?
was like,
Or classic.
Kong was smoking in the back of an Impala with Be Real.
Oh my god.
Could not handle that shit. But no. But again, it's one of those things where I like how, Kong's one of the few kaiju who will manipulate his environment to, he doesn't have built-in really other than his strength. So, I get it, and it's kind of classic Primal. So I like how Kong, that's how he fights. It makes him a different kind of fighter.
Okay, so what is the point of getting out and looking at him, guys? Do you not have a plan to get him going? Maybe Doctor Who is gonna cross-dress and be like, Kong, come with me.
Hey.
That would actually be amazing.
Hey. Maybe Kong likes more than just women. You don't know.
It's true.
Just because this movie's from the 60s doesn't mean you have to act like you are.
Hey, all I'm saying is I think that could be a viable option for them.
I'm just saying.
Then again, Kong's probably so stoned it wouldn't matter who comes up right now. He could talk to a bush right now and be convinced.
Okay, now, as maybe implausible as this is, I give this film all kinds of points by actually showing how they get Kong from point A to point B. Because all of the other films, it's like, hey, Kong's on a boat now.
It's a giant claw machine prize.
Oh, I know. It looks just like... I wish it was that easy to grab them.
Those would be the world's strongest.
But at least
people.
they show you how because it's always, even in like King Kong versus Godzilla, it was always like, and now he's on the boat. It's like, how? How did you get him on the boat? How do you do that?
He's back.
Seriously, man, Kong's entourage has been like, Kong has gone downhill.
Whoa.
Ain't no but a gangsta
Did he
party.
really? Holy shit! What an asshole! Fuck you, who?
Yeah, this Doctor Who doesn't use
Whoa.
a sonic screwdriver.
Fucking brutal.
To be fair, if the real Doctor Who used a gun more often, he might get himself out of some of the situations a lot faster.
True. All I know is he's living that thug life.
I know, this Doctor Who ain't messing around. So far, it's been all the Japanese people like wielding guns and shit. This movie, not the Westerners.
Yeah, I heard you the first time, buddy.
Got Nelson going, let's go explore this island, and Akira Takarada is running out with a freaking rifle. Like, yeah, well. No, that's just embarrassing. This is why
Kong looks way smaller now.
This is why they never show up, because it's just a sad sight.
Yeah.
Jesus. But I'm also thinking too, I get it. Ships are more buoyant, this and that, but still, you would have to really design that ship to be able to handle it, because again, the weight Kong is adding to that hull is like ridiculous. Which again, but to be fair, they've done that in Western films. Interestingly enough, not too much later, in King Kong, in the I think it was like 73 or 76, Kong with Jeff Bridges, they did the same thing where they put him in the hull of this big ship. Which kind of makes you wonder, did they get the idea from this?
Maybe. Oh my.
And like this Kong, that Kong was also a suit. So Kong has only been stop motion.
Once?
Yeah. I mean, I know there was Son of Kong, but that wasn't technically the same character. And there was Mighty Joe Young. But Kong proper, yeah, has only ever been stop motion one time. Otherwise, he's always been a suit, with the exception of Skull Island now, who he's completely CGI. Which is kind of interesting. Even in the West, they were utilizing, suitimation. We don't want to excite him.
Gross. Susan's like, yeah, please.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I can tell by smelling.
I know. I was like, these were Huey. What are you, a freaking bloodhound? Like, what the hell do you know? Could have been German Shepherds for all you know. What the hell is that to me, dude?
Oh, the powder stuff.
Well, yeah, he saw the powder stuff.
Oh, well, that would have been your first.
Yeah, homeboy there didn't smell or see powder. He just sniffed a branch and was like, human beings.
He's like, I just take pictures.
He's like, yeah, here's the thing. I don't want to. Again, the Japanese guy with the gun.
Hell yeah. He ain't messing around.
It's kind of interesting. Akira Takarada got to be in a Kong movie, and obviously he was in the original Gojira. He's been throughout a lot of these movies too. But it's interesting here because obviously this is Takarada's voice right here, and Susan's being the actress here is like,
how is he still alive? He got shot 3 times. He's old and he's weak. He's a fucking fighter.
This is a dangerous island. You have giant gorillas, giant dinosaurs, giant snakes, and you get like drive-bys too. Holy shit! This is not a good neighborhood to be in. But yeah, I was just saying, like, obviously, I know Takarada, he doesn't speak English, but I know he knows a few, words here and there, But obviously, right here, he really would know what she's saying, and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where I'm sure they explain in the scene ahead of time what what she's saying, and then she'll, what he's saying.
Well, I think it's a problem.
Unless they've got like cue cards or something.
Well, I'm sure in the script too, like for both actors, they have.
God, the water healed his bullet.
I know, quick, he's bleeding to death. Give him some water. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, obviously in the script, he'd probably read her line. It'd probably say in English, which is what she is. So he knows what she's saying, so he can kind of react and kind of the way he phrases his line, and kind of in response to what she's saying. So it's kind of like, we know a few Japanese lines and phrases, but also we don't speak it anywhere near fluent. But a lot of these movies I've seen so many times that sometimes if when I'm doing stuff and I play these movies up, and looks like she snapped his neck, by the way.
I know.
Skip to the end. But
it's like they gave the water was actually a potion, make him come back to life for like 10 seconds, and
she's like, aboard, snap.
Jesus.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, some of these movies, like The Return of Godzilla, I could not even put subtitles on, and I would know what they're saying, just because I've seen that movie so many times, I've read the subtitles, so, I just know what they're saying, so.
How do you have an idea of who the kidnapper is? Oh, okay.
The international intruders. I like how he was all like, oh yeah, totally. Like he just went with that.
He's like, oh good, okay.
Thinking like everything they've already seen.
What's up?
What do you do with your hand there, bud? He looked really intense, and his shoulder was moving a lot. I'm like, what's going on?
Get your mind out of the gutter. He just looks, no, that's exactly what I was doing. I like those 2 phones right there. Are they so you can call each other in the same room? See that?
Gotta say, man, Takarada's a good-looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Here you have a kind of like a classic, Western male lead. And I don't know, I think Takarada looks way more like dashing.
He's way hotter.
And have you seen him now? I mean, he's no. First of all, yeah, yes. For all of you who are not familiar with kaiju cinema, you may be new to this. He's still alive.
That's supposed to hold Kong.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Just
he's.
see him with a mug.
But you see, if you look at him now, he looks like such a distinguished older gentleman. Like he's definitely he's age, but he looks so good as an older guy.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow, really? Fucking. What's that? Should have made it Lady Kong. Big old boobies. He would have been in love. He's like, what do I see?
It's funny how they give him all sharp teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Because primates obviously just don't have that.
He just apparently thinks that's another Kong.
Well, I think it's supposed to mean like it looks. Is he like zig-higing there? Sorry. Well, hey, I didn't do it. But I think it's meant to be like obviously it's the first thing he's seen that's kind of familiar to kind of like him. Kind of like if you saw a mannequin for the first time, it's kind of like you can tell it's not you. It looks like you, but it kind of does.
I guess,
it probably kind of just trips him out.
I could have been doing anything.
Seriously, she is. She's a pretty lady. Such a pretty lady.
Didn't she have bangs before? I guess she could have them.
I think it's like back in her little like bonnet thing, whatever it is.
Bandana thing. It's like, I'm evil. I'm going to twirl my drink.
But even look at her, how she's kind of take charge. She's devilish. She's not like weak, and she doesn't feel like necessarily at his mercy. Like look at her. Look at how boss she is. She's just sitting down in his chair with a drink. Look at her. Right now, she feels more Bond villain. He feels like a Bond villain. She kind of feels more like Bond. Look at her. I don't know. I dig that. She's
a cool lady.
She's played by the way, Mai Hama. Very pretty. Again, this movie's got some very, very attractive women. Like, say East meets West, and I just want to be in the middle. Silence from the peanut gallery. Don't worry, folks. I'll get smacked upside the head for that one later. Worth it.
Why do we even have two phones in here if you never use them, guys?
Use the phones! Use the phone! Okay, why does she have to wear the hat other than the fact that it makes you look adorable? I think I just answered my question. Never mind.
Yeah. It's because she is the nurse. They should give her just the cliche nurse hat.
Is it wrong that I could see her drawn as a cute anime character?
No.
Like, I want to see the manga fan art of her.
Let's take our slow-moving hover vessel. It's always a good idea.
Oh. We've got our villains here. They don't know there are villains. Oh no. Our hero's being tricked? I think so. Oh shit. Gosh, she looks adorable.
We just don't know any better. Don't you dare question us? I like how they're like all squished in the middle. I'm like, guys, you look like you got plenty of room, but you're just gonna like almost sit on her. I think they just want to brush up against her. These guys aren't Japanese, I'm sure of it. I can tell because I'm Japanese.
I know, they always do that in these movies to try to be like, what do you mean? They look Japanese, they speak Japanese, they have perfect Japanese accents. Clearly they're Filipino. It's like, what?
Oh no.
Someone's having a temper tantrum.
They had those doors open the whole time?
Well, he's like chained up.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore, but...
Trying to start the party.
This is where they drop the beat. Dubstep kicks on. Mechanic Kong starts just doing the robot.
Oh my god.
Kong rolls out a big cardboard mat and starts breakdancing.
Jesus. I like how it's multicolored there, but it's not when you actually look at it. That's a magic light. Oh, I guess it kind of is.
I love how basically Kong just feels like an abuse victim. He's just been like drugged up. He's being given like hallucinogen. They are just messing with Kong.
Look, he's like so sad.
So obviously Kong is.
What is that? Is that his nose?
No, it's his ear.
Oh.
Obviously Kong is big, but you can really see there, like again, how compared to like Kong and King Kong vs. Godzilla, how much smaller he is. But again, I think that was done. Well, I also think the reason too, because you want to see Kong have a much more
Is that like early Bluetooth?
But I also think too, I think if Kong is smaller, he can have a more personal relationship with a person. Whereas if he's too big, I think there's too much of a disconnect. And because again, this Kong is more.
So wait, how does he just know where it is?
Well, I listen. Stop asking me these questions. You're making it really fucking hard for me to
and what it is.
Listen. I'm gonna really need you to stop.
Look at her hat. It's like a nipple. What?
But yeah, like obviously Susan.
No reaction.
Yeah, smug bastard. But yeah, obviously if Kong was like 100 feet tall or bigger, like he was in King Kong versus Godzilla, like I don't think he could have as much of a kind of again like a personal connection with like Susan, because he would be so big that she would just basically be like a little bug in his hand, and it'd be hard to kind of buy into Kong really connecting with her, because again she'd be just so tiny, whereas here she's still big enough in his hand where he can look at her and really kind of see her, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that was also the other reason why they scaled Kong down considerably in this film, for that reason. Whereas in, Godzilla vs. King Kong, his whole purpose was just to fight Godzilla, so make him big. Ooh. And again, I like how he's controlling Kong by speaking to him, telling him what to do. That would imply that Kong understands Japanese.
Well, again, they already established that with Susan, clearly.
Well, yeah, again, I can understand if they control him by sending like, impulses or kind of direct. No, they're speaking to him, like, do what I say. And it's like, well, he has to know what you're saying first. But, whatever.
You know what? Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah. Again, this film is definitely meant to be a lot more fun, but it does have this grain of allegory.
So is that supposed to be ice or diamond?
Yeah, it's like ice, but it's like glowing because of the element X. Again, it's more about the lengths in which a man will go to. I know. She gave him like the annoyed wife face. God, shut up. That's like he's thinking like. But yeah, no. Again, I do like that. That's basically saying again like.
Kong's like, you get your ass in here then.
It's basically they figured they needed a monster to withstand, whatever this stuff is. But the irony is, it's kind of showing that man is the bigger monster here. Like.
Oh.
It's kind of like what makes a monster a monster. Is it that it's a big thing, or is it what it's doing? Because for better or for worse, Kong was just on his island doing his thing. Whereas here we're trying to dig up an element. We're you know, hurting people to get it. You know, we want to do it to hurt more people, this and that. Where so it's like really, it's a monster movie. But right now in this scene, who is the real monster? King Kong, who's being controlled and manipulated against his will, or the asshole who's controlling, manipulating him against his will?
Mm. I don't wanna. I'm tired.
Kong out. Oh shit.
I never thought this would happen.
Kong's like, I'm gonna fucking kick you. Look at Kong. It's like, yeah, you better. We should probably shut the door, huh? Yeah, let's do that quick.
Why would you not have it shut?
Look at that. That'd be the.
Good thing it's a fast gate.
Look at her. Mm-hmm. Yo. Got really excited. Oh, Carl Nelson's here. Oh boy. Look at her. Look at her. Are we just gonna completely ignore the fact that you fucked up? Based on our research, based on a legend.
Yep.
Like research. You just drew a picture of a giant gorilla based on like a story you heard. They could have just built.
Where is this place?
Look at his face. He's like, the. When he kind of first looked up, he was kind of like, the fuck you just say to me? What's up, bruh? What? No, I don't know.
Why'd she lose her hat again?
It was just too adorable. They could not handle it. The kawaii factor was just off the charts. They're like, they're gonna crash this plane. They just kept looking back at her, like, lose the hat. Yo! Look at Tucker. God, that guy's a... Man.
We don't even know what it is.
I know, it's like... Yeah. We don't know really what it is, or really what it does, but god damn it, we gotta have it. It's like an app. Do I really need this? Is this really gonna do anything for me? I don't know, but I'm fucking downloading it. Bitch, please.
Wow, now I'm gonna put up a fight? Okay.
Weak sauce. So, about that you failing earlier. That she keep having that look on her face like, you know we're gonna talk about this, right?
He's just hoping if he puts it off long enough.
I know.
I
know how that goes, fellas. We've all been there.
Hey, at least they decorated a little, put a little pop of green in there.
I'd like to have her in my dungeon. I'm sorry. She's just so cute. Again, I just like how she's never really the damsel in distress in this movie. The only time she kind of came close is when these two assholes abandoned her when she got attacked by Gorosaur, and that would have been any of us in that situation. Mm-hmm. None of the situations she's been.
That didn't last long.
But yeah, I love none of the situations where she finds herself in any kind of peril is a result of her being a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, because of Kong's affinity for her, it gives her actually an empowered position because Kong will help her. Kong will listen to her. So essentially, she's got the muscle because Kong's got her back. You know, Kong's not interested in either of these guys.
Yeah.
So really, she puts herself in position. You'll see this later on in the film towards the end where, because she knows Kong will listen to her and respond to her, she puts herself in harm's way to get Kong to do what they need him to do. And that really shows you, she's basically the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
He is giant next to that little guy on the left.
Well, I mean, he's
I know,
a
but
Western guy. I mean, hey.
Oh, sexy time?
So you took me out of the dungeon with the hot blonde, and you put me in the honeymoon suite with the not Japanese woman.
Oh boy, and that's like a nightie.
I know. Look at God.
Oh,
Look.
it's kind of weird feather placement. I don't know.
Oh,
that.
you were looking. Oh, sorry, I didn't even know I was looking.
Yeah, on the dress. Sorry, I realized I just said feather placement and didn't specify.
I don't know if that was like a euphemism for something.
No.
Feather placement. Am I right? Or yeah, either way.
Euphemism.
Feather placement. Am I right, guys? She's got expensive taste.
Pour me a drink and I'll tell ya.
That is an expensive bottle she's got there. No, okay. Upon learning more about Japanese culture as I got old, God damn the way she's touching that. Anyway, but upon learning about Japanese culture, you know, as Westerners, we'll look at this scene and not think much of it. But for Japanese people, especially women, to be this sexually forward like this.
She's not Japanese. She's from the mysterious country that they don't ever specify.
Which I'm wondering, is that maybe why they're having her behave this way? Because in Japan, kind of physical acts of, you know, romance, love, or just affection in general, it's all kind of meant behind closed doors. Like, you don't even see couples holding hands.
Technically they are, but...
I guess, but just to have a character like this in the movie. You're not Japanese, Chinese. I don't know. I think you had it right the first time, but that's just me.
What kind of Asian are you?
Wow, cock blocker. Holy shit.
You put me here and now you're taking me away already?
This is the worst form of torture ever. We're just going to keep dangling beautiful women in front of you and then yanking you out at the last minute.
So here's my question. I guess...
Although, interestingly enough, you're going to start seeing a point in the movie now where Doctor Who here is kind of now getting a little bit of the upper hand because he knows Nelson better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So... And she's starting to kind of maybe lose some of that imagery of, like, you know, this cool, cold, heartless, you know... And again, in terms of talking about who the monster is, you're going to start seeing again, it's our actions. It's the lengths we will go to get what we want that kind of just determine who we are. And Doctor Who, up at this point, has kind of been kind of the comical, bondish villain. But when he shot that Islander, the Islander, I should say, right away you see he's more than just the kind of he stopped being kind of a cartoon character and became like a legit bad person, because you know you see these movies, these evil guys, they're rubbing their hands together, and yes, their plans will ultimately result in people dying, but it's always in the abstract. Where there, he just murdered someone in cold blood. You know, it wasn't by accident. He didn't, like, you know, blow up the island with a guy. No, he just shot him with a fucking gun.
If you guys are gonna fucking lock us in here, just lock us and leave. Like, God.
And now you're going to start seeing his action when you realize, no, he's just a psychopath. He's just a cold-blooded murderer. He does not care. You know what I mean? And that's when you start to kind of see that between him and, I always forget her name. I feel like a piece of poo.
The girl right there?
No. Well, not her. The other girl. The not Japanese girl.
The mystery Asian.
Or it's Miyahama playing.
See, he thinks he's doing him harm, but now they're gonna have to get naked and cuddle for body heat.
It's not that kind of movie. But she's yeah.
Oh!
I know. Madame Piranha, Madame X. But you know, up to this point, she's felt, hiya! she's felt more like the villain, the evil heart, But now you're gonna start seeing the shift. Like, actually, who's really the bad guy here? Who's really ruthless and what their motivations really are. Because don't forget, she's basically a foreign dignitary. She's there representing a government, whereas him, he's literally just a mad scientist. She's technically.
Yeah.
This is what we all came. No,
Oh.
you're right. You should take off your shirt instead and warn me. Don't sit for her. Don't sit for her. Don't be that guy. And also too, I like how kind of the leading man gets the girl is Akira Takarada, the Japanese guy. It's not being dumped on like we got our Western male lead. Let's let him. No, it's Akira who's kind of being that guy, and I kind of like that. Because I think if you want to go cliche, it would have been him, Nelson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's the white girl. He's your hunky Western dashing lead. No,
why are you touching the bars that are very clearly icy?
I like that Takarada who kind of gets to be like her hero, so to speak. Again, now I like how this guy really feels like an evil asshole, and you realize when you get past the hair and the cape and all that, you realize that yeah, he's actually pretty evil. You know what I mean?
He did shoot that poor old guy.
Well, that's my point. You realize that don't be fooled by his kind of cartoon villain demeanor. He's actually a horrible person.
Okay, you'll take the lives if necessary, but then what will you do? You need the girl, if anyone.
Well, that's the point. He knows that.
Why didn't you have him handcuffed to begin with?
And again, I think it's interesting here because again, I think he's supposed to kind of mirror Kong a little bit. Like those are the kind of the two men, if you will, in her life who care about her, and they're both being forced to watch as something bad happens to this woman they care about. You know what I mean? They're kind of, and that's kind of where Kong can kind of do where a lot of other kaiju films can, where we can really not put ourselves in Kong's shoe, but Kong can almost put himself in our shoes. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ!
Because look what Kong is doing. It's almost like a metaphor for like what's going on inside of him. Right? This is what he's feeling. He's angry. He's frustrated. He wants to just tear this place down to free her. So Kong is almost kind of like his inner self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that. It's kind of like.
Thank God they left the door open with the keys on the table.
I know. But again, Kong can kind of relate to us in ways that kaiju other can't.
That place is fucked.
Well, yeah. Ow.
I was gonna say, he's already ripping the door off the hinges, like.
He's bringing down the whole mountain. Yeah. Fuck this door!
We've all had those days.
Yeah, we've all had those days.
Gonna get some Kong action. Like, that's right, motherfuckers, can't hold me down. Even though I'm like, there isn't enough debris there for the amount of rubble.
Well, that almost how is Kong not freezing to death? He's a tropical animal. Then again, if he can withstand radiation, then
yeah, or whatever Element X actually is.
Yeah. But I think it was implying that Element X puts off a high degree of radiation. That's why they themselves can't get too close to it. Gosh, she is. Why do you always slip into something sexy?
It's actually just a blanket and she's naked underneath. Look at him. He's like, oh god, my feet are so cold.
Again, I always love when they do like snow.
Oh.
Oh, that was
What is that, like a penguin challenge or whatever they always do? The
oh,
charity
they like swim
or
around
polar
like
bear challenge, yeah.
yeah.
Go in the ice water in the middle of winter. You know what? Kong's doing it for charity.
Yeah, you better swim away. I was gonna say, I love it when they do snowy stuff in kaiju films. It's kind of a rare thing. I mean, you saw it in the first Gamera. You see it.
Wow, she changed already.
So look at what just went down, and now we're all just chilling in here having a drink. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a giant robot gorilla
Well,
on the
I'm like,
loose.
where is her place then? Apparently not in the same place as...
Well, I think it's like a big like underground kind of network. All right, so we have the drink, then we get prisoners, and I was like, okay, it's
Well,
getting
like,
old.
oh, so I thought he was dead. Don't you talk about that.
I'm so confused. They're captured the prisoners, then they're gassed, they're drinking, then they're captured again, then they're gassed again. You just tried to kill me a minute ago, and now we're having drinks. It's like, they need to get their shit together.
Bitch, please.
He kind of licks his chops a lot. Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
God, that place is bigger than our first apartment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bed. Poor girl, going to bed unsatisfied again.
Jesus. Always getting cock blocked.
I know, that dude needs to just fucking, like, lock him in a room, seriously.
Naturally. Wait a minute. Aren't they at the North Pole technically?
Yeah.
So Kong swam all the way to Tokyo?
Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah.
Well, okay, I mean, but at this point, it's kind of like
I guess, yeah.
kaiju, they get in the water, you know, it's like, even though Kong comes across as much more as a normal animal in this movie, but again, he can withstand radiation, apparently, so why not swim?
I hate that hat. It looks so stupid.
Well, it's like, this movie's like, let's get two incredibly attractive women and put them in the most, like, adorable hats ever.
I honestly, it wouldn't be so bad, but I'm like, why? Like, instead of a button on the top, it's got, like, that weird protrusion.
Protrusion? See, now you're starting to see, okay.
Don't you touch me.
You're starting to see her show some sympathy, some remorse, and you realize that, oh, she's actually kind of, you know, taking into consideration, where the hell am I? But she's taking into consideration the lives of people on a mass scale now, whereas Doctor Who is just like, you know, hey, you know, we'll kill everyone. He doesn't care. Again, it's going to be fun to see Kong now in Japan moving around. He's so much smaller he is compared to when, you know,
Yeah.
King Kong vs. Godzilla, we saw how much more giant he was. But again, this really feels like they wanted to make a kind of a more King Kong-esque movie. So every time I watch this movie, I really get the sense that they were having a lot of fun making this movie.
Mm-hmm. That seemed like an unnecessary, like, composite shot.
Yeah, I mean, I often wonder, too, if maybe it was a situation of, like, okay, it was a pickup shot, and they didn't alter the location anymore, so they just had to do it that way.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe, I'm not sure.
Wait, are they inside of Kong?
No, they're in the
Okay.
ship. And by the way, this film, I should point out, this was done by Ishiro Honda, who did, you know, Gojira and a lot of the other Godzilla films, so he kind of, I think for him, too, this was really, like, his chance to kind of do a King Kong proper.
I want to sleep with you finally.
Yeah, now you're kind of realizing that, you know, she wasn't just an evil villain. She was kind of doing this on behalf kind of her country, her people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
and basically kind of, the only person crazy enough to, help her out would be a mad scientist. Which kind of now makes her even look more, realize that she's kind of a desperate person if she would have to, resort to somebody like that.
Mm-hmm. Good thing that it's one key for all these locks. So we can finally have sex. What? No one does.
No one knows the name of your country, apparently. But see, again, I like how they basically describe it. It almost sounds like she's kind of coming almost from like a third world or like a really kind of like, turbulent place. And you kind of realize that, for them, they were so desperate that, again, they had to do. So she goes, so that the actions that made her look villainous now kind of make her look sad because you realize she had no choice but to kind of align herself with a madman.
Yeah.
That's now showing you how, not how evil she was, but how, in fact, desperate. And not just her, but her country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were desperate to get themselves out of a bad situation that they had to align themselves with a madman, And it's kind of sad, actually. It's amazing how she's kind of had this really great character arc.
She's like, check out that tush.
So, is he not like one of those guys? He doesn't have the swanky uniform.
Unless he's just one of the boat people, maybe.
Yeah.
Boat hands or whatever. Shipmen, seamen. He's one of the seamen. So mature.
Looks like they have like silencers at the end of their guns, yet they're making noise.
Maybe they're super sniper guns, not silencers.
Well, they're not using those sniper guns very well. Then.
Well, clearly. Guns aren't legal. They probably don't know how to shoot them.
Let's see if we recognize any of the landmarks. I saw the Diet building. That's not that one temple we went to, is it?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So this is now the equivalent of like when Kong was running around New York. Now it's him kind of running around Tokyo.
So here's my thing. In all these Toho movies, you always see all these tanks just kind of come out of nowhere. So I'm just kind of like, where does Japan keep all their tanks? They just like hidden underneath the roads or something.
That's actually a good question. I'm not too. By the way, I love how quickly this guy's gonna go with this. Sure, why not? But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I mean, I would imagine it being the self-defense force, they'd have to kind of be ready to go at the moment. I don't know. Japan is a very efficient country at utilizing space, so I'm sure they could very well be underground. I don't know. That's actually a good question, though. I never actually asked that. Look how calm those guys are in the Jeep.
They had time to change and redo their hair.
So again, I like how Kong here feels more like a confused, almost even a frightened animal a little bit, as opposed to like a rampaging monster. Whereas like, if this was any other kind of kaiju film, they would just be going through buildings. Even Mothra caused way more destruction when she went. Kong here very much feels like he's out of sorts, you know what I mean?
Is that supposed to be Asakusa Temple? I can't
I'm
tell.
not sure.
I
Obviously,
they showed the big lantern.
The city would have been built up around it since, so.
Well, yeah.
See, right here, she's running out on her own.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to Kong as opposed to being kidnapped by Kong. Hey, girl!
Where have you been?
Hey, what's up?
She's like a baby. Lift me.
Again, it's sweet because she's really like. Again, and only in a Kong movie will you see something like this. Again, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the closest you can really
He
come
just
is.
eats her. Oh.
I guess Mothra you can kind of get close sometimes, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Kong is one of those rare cases where they, and I think that's why Kong has kind of become, has always been so popular. Because again, you can do things with him that you can't do in a Godzilla movie. In a Godzilla movie where he's more the good guy, Godzilla is still kind of like, the lone wolf. He's not a tender heart. Then we have Mecha Kong. We're gonna have one of the.
Why didn't they evacuate all of the civilians sooner? By the way.
Well, I mean, I think it's also one of those things trying to show too, like, okay, there's no need because Kong is safe. He's a rare case where
Well, they didn't know that though.
I guess, but I think it's kind of more just to kind of create that mood.
Know.
Whereas, like, if it was any other kaiju movie, it's like, get the hell out of
that
Dodge.
building.
Yeah, really, he could have gone around.
It's like, I'm Big Mechanic Kong. Look at my arms. I'm so cool. He's like, I'm not impressed.
I know, he really was like, whatever.
I'm like, bitch, what'd you say?
Excuse me?
Oh, I'll show you, Missy.
He just throws her over his shoulder.
Is that like beeping Kong or Mechanic Kong?
Yeah.
It's like beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
Oh, I thought he had laser eyes. He's just very bright. Oh, that's what that was. Somebody like shoot that? Maybe that'd be a good idea.
They all just are like dancing. Again, they're telling the monster to run away, to flee. Again, it's a very unique situation. Again, Takarada with the gun.
I was gonna say, yeah. There you go, buddy.
Bam. And again, I think by being this size too, it puts the human characters in a position where they can punch right in the throat. But they get in a position where they can help Kong too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's not so big where they feel powerless to help him or do anything really.
Wait, so are they like? Oh, they're on the ship now, right?
Yeah, they're like in the harbor.
Pretty
bay.
identical to the North Pole.
You shut your mouth.
You say I shit my mouth?
I say you shut your mouth. You shit. I don't know. Hope you don't shit your mouth.
I don't.
I kissed that mouth, damn it.
Yeah, I wouldn't hang around here. Wow, shouldn't even try.
Got snatched up. Oh my gosh, you're not throwing up right now.
I know, right? To Tokyo Tower! That might have been Asakusa then, if that's Tokyo Tower right there.
Yeah.
Wow, that just shows how small they are, though.
Well, yeah. But it's funny, you think of those Godzilla movies later on, and like the Heist era, where like Godzilla's like half the size of the tower already. You know what I mean? And this is another reason too. By making Kong smaller, he can now scale it. This is kind of his. This will be like the Empire State Building scene where.
Naturally.
This is coming up my favorite sequence in the movie though. This.
Oh.
Yeah, that was yeah. Some horrible dubbing. It matches lips.
Man, she's getting that view and she didn't have to pay to go up.
Like, he's not even that high up though for it to be.
I know.
It's just so funny because we've been up to Tokyo Tower.
Mm-hmm. To the tip top.
Yep. It's cool to just think like there's a battle happening up there when you realize how high up you are.
And then you go to Skytree.
Then you go to Skytree and you're like, oh, wow, this is what it feels like to be a DBZ character flying.
thug life. She's like, I found my little pea shooter.
He lost the cape.
I'm powerless without my cape.
He kind of looks like a Japanese Peter Capaldi right there. A little bit, right?
I see it. Kick his ass. He's old, you can take him. Look at her go.
I know, right? Hiya!
Oh, okay. Did he actually shoot her? It's like, what a wasted opportunity. Oh, maybe he didn't shoot her.
No, he shot her in the arm.
Oh, grazed her.
Did that gun shoot paper cuts? Like,
Maybe.
that guy looks really uncomfortable back there.
Oh, I'm coming up.
That's cool. I love that shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty good.
Again, this film did kind of really, it's so weird. We were right in there. Oh, well, we weren't there right then, but. But yeah, no, that was the temple into. But again, you forget how quickly Tokyo has been built up over the years.
Mm-hmm. They're going to the top observatory deck.
And this is a big prop they built too.
I was thinking that
if you
too,
look at it, they had to. I'm thinking they probably built it maybe in sections.
They must have, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that because he's holding her.
I know. I was always thinking like, okay, what if you do pull him down?
Or she's just gonna like fly out of his hand or get squished.
I know. The fact that this is all happening so off the ground, right away, it creates a really good tension for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
More so than if it was a ground fight.
There we go. Good job, Kong.
Got her.
Ouch. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, yeah. There you go. Clearly, this is a safe spot for her.
Well, it's better than a... Like how they're all like, oh, hooray. Like, how would you see that?
I know.
Yeah, we've been to the base of Tokyo Tower. You look up, you're not making out much of anything up there.
Yeah.
What'd I do?
Yikes. Not where I'd want to be.
I know. That's a cool... And I like how it's Takarada's character who's going to be the man of action here, not Nelson. Like, again, you're letting...
He's got a long climb.
Oh, yeah. But it's cool, though, because, again, he gets to be the hero of the movie. And I like how they didn't kind of bow to RKO and kind of, let the white lead be the... Not that I'm, like, one of those people who go on the whole, like, social justice warrior rant about, like, having white male lead. But, again, you have your kind of hunky Western hero guy in this movie, yet he plays second fiddle to the Japanese guy. And I like that. I like how Takarada gets to be the star, between as far as the two males go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think this film is first and foremost for the Japanese market, and Kira Takarada now is a big star, so I think that was also one of the reasons. But this film was going to be distributed in the West, so the RKO could have easily made the argument like, well, this film needs to do really, really well abroad. We should have the white guy be the hero to appeal what they think would have been like a little more mass audience. But I love that Takarada gets to be the knight in shining armor ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she's being the damsel in distress here, she's only that because
she's doing all this in heels, guys, and a dress.
Yeah. She did it before What's-Her-Face in Jurassic World ever did it. But again, she's only even in this position because she put herself at risk. You know what I mean? So it's not like she just got snatched up. She was taking risks of her own.
Funny that they literally just left the black backdrop. Didn't even try to put the sky in. It's probably for the best.
So both these people are in these perilous positions because they're being heroic in their own way, which I really, really like about this movie.
Now you send people up.
Yeah. Should you guys have gone up before? God, that'd be so scary how high up there. But by the way, it would have taken him forever to get up there, but whatever.
And the wind would be so strong they would probably get knocked off on top of the fact that those two...
I know, are fighting up there. That thing would be shaking like a mother, but...
And it already moves if you go up there.
Oh, yeah, no, we felt it a little bit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing, folks.
Yeah, with that going on.
I know. But look how cool this is. I love that King Kong fighting a robot King Kong at the top of Tokyo Tower, that's awesome. It's such a cool visual. And it's probably, in terms of kind of King Kong filmography, I think this is probably one of the most epic things Kong has done. You know what I mean? Fighting up to, I know. I love how they're just, it's such a cool fight. Oh shit, God. Yeah.
Wait, is that supposed to be the top of the observatory?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, that makes more sense. And I was like, there's no way they got to the base already. Okay, yeah. Oh.
Ow.
Oh, wow.
Again, I just love how epic this fight feels. Damn. Oh, no.
Oh. About time you guys showed up.
But again, I always like how they show the self-defense force always being really useful and helpful. Like, again, I love the Japanese skyline at night. So I always love shots in these movies where you can kind of see it, even if it is like a composite shot. I don't know. Tokyo's one of those cities where I just love the look of it, especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so scary.
Yeah.
Again, it's one thing to see it in the movies or see pictures, but when you're actually there and you're looking out that observatory window and you see just how high you actually are, it's crazy. And then again, you go to Skytree and like the middle part, the lowest point.
The lowest part of Skytree is the highest part of Tokyo Tower.
Yeah, you're above, I think, the entire tower. In the lowest part of Skytree, you're already above Tokyo Tower as a whole. And then you go to the very top of Skytree and you're like, oh my god.
What was that? I think it was like 450 or 475? Or was it 500?
I don't know.
Meters. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah,
It was very high. And they had glass floors and it was terrifying.
Yeah, let's put it this way. If this fight was happening at the top of Skytree, you wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't even know it was happening.
Well, then again, they have it all lit up, so you would, but...
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're just walking around, you wouldn't necessarily know what's happening if it was all up top. That's how high up it is. It wouldn't be till like things start falling down that you would notice something was actually going on up there. That's how high up it is.
It's like, oh, you want to go higher? I'll go higher.
That's the thing too. Kong is putting himself at risk here because again, despite his ability to climb up there, if he fell, it would probably kill him. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I like how she's taking charge. She's being heroic.
Oh, so he actually did it? In her tummy tum-tums? Oh, yep.
Center mass. Again, someone who was portrayed as not just only a villain, but like the villain in charge. No!
I will go down with this
Oh.
ship. Oh, wow. He just...
Fell apart.
fell apart. That was actually a pretty cool
I know,
way
that
to
was
do
cool.
They're like, okay, guys, just, throw the suit down. Add some smoking lights. And your dress and hair aren't even a mess.
I know. Immaculate.
You kept your shoes on the whole time. Why is he hanging back like that?
He's a boss. He just leans back into it. See, I want to point out too, like, okay, Kong is always kind of considered like the American monster. He's America. He's ours. Yet Skull Island was the first American production of Kong where we did not kill Kong. Never mind Kong dying, where he was not slain by us. Whereas in the Toho films, he lives.
Yeah.
And he's actually like, and he's revered. Like he's very much treated as a hero. You know what I mean? Whereas, in all the American films before Skull Island, yeah, he's killed. Even Son of Kong, dies. I think the only time they didn't do anything like that was Mighty Joe Young, whereas the only kind of ape movie in America that was where he wasn't killed.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of ironic that, Japan has always kind of treated Kong with more reverence in a weird way than America has.
Yeah.
See, right there, you can tell she's saying, stop that shit. These guys just casually roll up. So, what's going on here? I'm gonna get you.
Jesus.
Look at him. That'd be scary as hell to see it. Look at his face. I'm just gonna go back here.
Just gonna duck out.
Why
wouldn't you have just done that to begin with? Oh.
You
dropped this!
You just get all up on them. Just.
Yikes. Gonna say, get the lifeboats. Oh.
Damn.
This must have been fun.
Times like this, I would love to be up in a suit actor like that. Just like, hey, what did you do today? I just fucked up some shit and got paid for it while being dressed as a giant
What's wrong?
ape.
Are you okay? Really? That's what you're gonna ask right now?
Hey, bud. Hey, guy. You doing okay, guy? How you feeling? Kong is just fucking shit up.
Why did he go back to the control room? That was like the dumbest thing he could have done. You get what you deserve.
And I like how you see these people get brutally killed. Like, Kong is our hero, but he's brutally murdering these people.
Dude, he did murder like 2 innocent.
Well, that's my point. And I like how you see these people get their comeuppance. They die, and they don't die easy.
So, oh, dude, real good job.
Alright, yeah. I'm out.
I'm done.
He's just not into you, sweetie. Let it go.
Don't put your arm around me. I'm with him now.
And like King Kong vs. Godzilla, Kong swims away. Again, Japan has always treated Kong better than we have. But anyway, guys, there you have it. King Kong escapes, the last time Toho would ever produce a Kong film. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.